What is going on, Washington fans? Welcome to the JTFB show. I am Josh Taylor. If you've been here before, you know that I cover the Washington Commanders. I'm also a contributor for Bleacher Report and now one of the newest full-time scouts for SIS, aka Sports Info Solutions. So I will be going all in on football this upcoming season. I have nothing else to worry about. Football is the main thing, as it always should be. Now, the exciting thing is, like I said, we have a lot of content coming up here on the channel and then also with Bleacher Report streams. So hit that subscribe button and then like the video if you enjoy what you see. And it's training camp season. It's finally time to see these new players get together and practice. And it's already started. Some of the main medias, they're covering the team and some of the first practices of training camp. Now, I will be flying from Texas to Ashburn, Virginia, Saturday morning. And then I will be at training camp practice on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then that last Friday and Sunday before I fly back Sunday night. I won't be there on the 6th, but I will be at training camp. I'll be on the grounds like I have been in the past. Y'all are going to see me. Don't worry. And I'll be covering the team. I'll be covering some practices, hopefully getting some good videos and then giving y'all some recaps of what I see at practice afterwards, hopefully every day. Sometimes the signal out there sucks. Sometimes I don't have the best availability to Wi-Fi until I get back to the house. But as you know, I'll be covering y'all and uploading videos all the time there and then throughout the whole season. So hit that subscribe button and stick around because we have a lot of exciting things coming to the channel. Now, the things I'm really looking for in training camp, that's what I want to talk about on this video. What exactly we're looking for? Position battles? Is there any storylines? This seems like it's going to be a much more relaxed training camp. That's going to be intense. But when it comes to like drama and things we're watching and stuff like that, this is going to be a more enjoyable training camp. I think that's the word for it. Enjoyable. I think we're going to see a, rejuvenated team. I think we're going to see a more energized team with the right coaching staff. So I want to bring up the depth chart. And this isn't like some official depth chart or anything like that. This is just what they have as a team right now on ourlads.com. And I'm going to tell y'all some position battles that I'm going to be looking for. Me and Rio did a good little dive on this on his channel when we went live, so go watch that video too. Now, looking at wide receivers, obviously we have Terry, we have Jahan, we have Luke McCaffrey. What the heck is going on behind them? How many wide receivers do we keep? Is it going to be 6? Is it going to be 7? And that's a question I'm asking with a new offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury. We don't know what to expect at all. It could be 6, it could be 7. So we have those 3 guys, in my opinion, are locks. Now, I'm going to give you another guy who I think is a lock, in my opinion. I can't wait to see what he does in person. And that's Olamide Zaccheaus, former Philadelphia Eagle. This is a guy that was handpicked in the offseason to come here. And just like Damiere Byrd, he's another guy that was handpicked by this, coaching staff to come here. And a couple things I'm thinking about is, what about the guys of the past? I hate to say it, but Jamison Crowder could be one of those guys that's out. I know he's a good return guy, but the return, rules have changed on the kickoffs. Punts is still the same. But then you have Dyami Brown. Could he be a guy kind of like Hollywood Brown, how he was with the Cardinals, where he's just like a one-trick pony, but it's pretty good? And that's just, going deep. Can Cliff Kingsbury unlock some stuff with Dyami? What about Dax Milne? I just don't really see it. Then you got my guy Mitch Tinsley, who really made the most of his opportunities last offseason, showed out in training camp, showed up every day, put in the work, and then had his opportunity in the preseason and made the team. I would love to see Mitch make the team again this year, and I think he has some really good things that fit what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do. I really like his tools. I really like his skill set. I want to see some more of Mitch Tinsley. And then behind him, you have Casimir Allen, Bryson Terrain, who always made some crazy catches at training camp, Davion Davis, and then another guy I am excited to see on the field, and he's already made a crazy catch in minicamp. That was Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint, the undrafted free agent out of Georgia, but one of the most sure hands in the draft. Like, no drops. This guy caught everything. He was a really good threat. Just didn't have a lot of opportunities. Just didn't get a lot of, it wasn't, some air raid offense at Georgia. I want to see what Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint can do, and I think he has a good shot at earning a spot on this team. So will it be 6 wide receivers? Will it be 7 wide receivers? That's the question we need to answer, and if so, who's it going to be? Terry Jahan, Luke, Olamide Zaccheaus, Demir Birds 5, Mitch Tinsley at 6, or maybe De'Ami Brown, and then maybe Mitch Tinsley at 7. Or maybe Demir Bird or Olamide Zaccheaus don't make the team. But I think they handpicked them for a reason. And I think Olamide Zaccheaus is a lock in my opinion. I truly think he has a better chance of making it than Dax Milne, De'Ami Brown, Jamison Crowder, and even maybe Demir Bird. I think Olamide Zaccheaus has some good juice to him. Now, the offensive line is still the one thing I am concerned about. I want to see who gets reps where. What does this puzzle look like? We got a lot of pieces. We have some former pieces and we have some new pieces. We got some good pieces. We have some, I don't know, pieces. So this is the biggest puzzle. I'm going to be glued on this offensive line, seeing who gets reps where. Right now they have it as Cornelius Lucas at left tackle, Nick Allegretti at left guard, Tyler Biadasz at center, Sam Cosmi, super slept on, one of the best guards in the NFL, in my opinion, at right guard, and then Andrew Wiley at right tackle. And then, of course, we got Brandon Coleman in the draft. Is he going to be a left tackle? Is he going to be a guard? What does that look like? Could he even move over to right tackle need be? I think as it is right now, how they have it listed, that's what I'm expecting. Now, I don't think it'll last. I think when Brandon Coleman is ready, he is going to get that nod at left tackle. I think he's going to get that nod at left tackle. I think that's best case scenario. I think size and skill set, he has everything in the makeup to be a good left tackle. It's just, with his last year at TCU, he had to move around a little bit, played left guard because, he was the best piece on their line. They lost Avila, who I really wanted here, and now he's balling out with the Rams. So Brandon Coleman had to fill those holes. But if you go back to the season before that, when TCU played Georgia and Michigan in the playoffs, that was his best film, and he was at left tackle. Against the best of the best, Georgia and Michigan, Brandon Coleman put out his best film of his career at left tackle against those guys. So will we see maybe some Brandon Coleman at guard? Maybe, right tackle. Can he play that? Will we see Cornelius Lucas move over to right tackle if, things go south with Andrew Wiley? That's what I want to keep an eye on. I'm depth-wise, I'm still pretty concerned with everything we have. If one person goes down, I'm kind of freaking out. I think Mason Brooks has what it takes to, fill in at guard need be. I don't know what to expect out of Nick Allegretti. I honestly haven't watched enough of him with the Kansas City Chiefs to be like, okay, I feel really good about this spot. They felt really good about him. They did their homework on him. Tough guy. People really like him. So I trust of what that's going to look like. But when you go back to this offensive line last year and how bad it was, the left guard in the center position was the worst in the entire NFL. All those pressures, all those sacks, I will say a majority of them were coming up the middle, left guard and center. Yes, Andrew Wiley wasn't perfect, but he wasn't a nightmare like people remember him as, because you remember the bad things. Now, once again, I'm not saying he was really good. I'm not saying he was even good, but I'm just saying I could understand why they would run with him at right tackle this season. And it's a new coaching staff. But they felt good enough with Andrew Wiley to say we could leave him at right tackle to where we're not, hitting some home run on that position. Now, they attacked left tackle. They tried to trade up in the first to get a left tackle. That was well known. But at the end of the day, they feel like they got a really good value in Brandon Coleman, who has the upside to start at left tackle. And like I said, Cornelius Lucas is a good, consistent piece. He filled in and started at left tackle that one game last year and looked good. Now, can he do that all season long? That's the question. That's what I want answered. But Tyler Biadasz filling in at center, a young, up and rising guy. I would say he's a top 15 center in the league. Now he can grow here for a long time and say, okay, I'm a starter now. I'm the guy. Him and Dorrance Armstrong, both in Dallas, were starting to grow into that starting role where it's like, okay, these guys could be great starters long-term for us. And I think that's why they went out and got him. Quinn knew what he was getting with Tyler Biadasz. He said, I want this guy. This is a giant need on the team. That was probably one of the biggest needs at center. Having that consistency that we haven't had for a few seasons now. And like I said, with Sam Cosmi, I think we could extend him at any time. I haven't heard anything on it yet, but I think it's definitely in the cards. We have the money. Obviously, they're leaving things open for, possible trades. Maybe they pick up some people along the way. It's not out of the equation that Washington adds a player that gets cut in camp. And this was brought up by Nikki the other day when she tweeted out that Washington is second in the waiver wire, by the way. Like, do not forget that. So if a player is let go or salary cap cut, one of those camp cut players, Washington has second dibs on all of the players that hit the wire. So keep that in mind. Maybe they keep adding to this offensive line. Maybe they keep adding to the secondary. We will see. But I'm keeping a close eye on this offensive line, seeing who really goes where, how they look, different, scenarios of maybe this guy has to fill in here, who looks comfortable where. So stay tuned for that. I'm definitely going to give you all updates on the offensive line because I know it's still a big concern for a lot of people. And of course, we're going to talk about tight end before I get to the quarterbacks. Y'all know Ben Sinnott's my guy. I am excited for Ben Sinnott. This is a guy that's been on my board since Kansas State played my Alabama Crimson Tide back in the bowl game 2 years ago. And I said, who is this number 34 guy running these NFL routes and catching passes on my squad that didn't have any opt-outs in that bowl game? I said, who is this guy? So I said, Ben Sinnott's a guy I'm going to come back to next year for the draft. I'm excited. One of those Kansas State, tight ends just loves to block people, ugly number, just does the dirty work, but can get things done. He's hurdling people. He's breaking tackles. He's making great catches. I said, this is a guy I'm going to keep an eye on. And he quickly went up my boards throughout the offseason. This is a guy I talked about since back in like October of the season. And, met him at the Senior Bowl. Great guy. He DM'd me after we drafted him. I told him, I said, bro, you are the perfect tight end for Adam Peters. Adam Peters is going to love you if he doesn't already. And he was just laughing about it. Like, yeah, dude, I would love it. That's great. I would love to come to Washington. Like, let's make it happen. And he literally DM'd me like 20 minutes after we drafted him. He's like, bro, you called it. I cannot believe it. And it just felt good going back, watching that Commander's log. Adam Peters was like, yo, this is a guy. I really want this guy. He's going to be one of those good ones. And I truly think, first off, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz has a lot more to him than people want to give him credit for. And he's also one of Cliff Kingsbury's old guys with the Cardinals. He knows the offense. This is going to be easy for him. He knows what he's doing. There is no learning period for Zach Ertz. He just has to go out there, be the veteran, do what he does, and show guys like Ben Sinnott who are new to the NFL, who are rookies, who are new to this offense, even, John Bates, Cole Turner, Amani Rodgers, whoever, Yankoff. Show those guys how to work in this offense. An offense, by the way, that in the past has liked a lot of 2 tight end sets. But do not be surprised if, we get 1 year of Zach Ertz. Ben Sinnott is going to be a really good starter next year. Really good starter. And he's going to contribute a lot this year. I am so excited. I can't wait to see my boy at training camp. Definitely going to try to get him on here on the channel just to talk whenever there's some downtime through camp and stuff before the season really kicks off. But I like our tight ends. I think Zach Ertz was one of those picks that not enough people are talking about. It's like, oh, one of these veteran guys. What does he have left? Can he stay healthy? That's definitely a factor. Can he stay healthy? I'm not going to deny that. That's definitely something that we need. But if not, I feel good about Ben Sinnott as a complete tight end. I feel good about John Bates as a blocking tight end. And then I really want to see Armani Rodgers stay healthy. And can Cole Turner be a well-balanced tight end as well? So I actually feel good about this tight end group, which is something I haven't been able to say for a while now. And it feels really good. Now let's go to the diamond, Jaden Daniels. The biggest thing I want to see, and there's been 2 training camp practices. Marcus Mariota's really kind of started things. We knew this was going to happen. Marcus Mariota's, took the first few reps of practices. He's that veteran guy. They want Jaden Daniels. They want that moment where it's just Jaden Daniels says, no, this is my quarterback 1 position. I'm the guy. I'm the franchise quarterback. This is how things are supposed to go. Now, or you could be the Bears and you just come out and say, like weeks ago, but yep, Caleb's guy. Caleb's starting. He's QB1. He's starting. But the way that Dan Quinn and even Adam Peters and this coaching staff, they want guys to just fight and earn things. Nothing is given. Nothing is given. And that's how it should be. Now, I think there's going to be a moment, and Jaden Daniels has already had these little moments, showing up before everybody, breaking down the film, putting in the work, even on the off time, training with the team out in California or up in Oregon where they were. The whole offense was together pretty much practicing during their downtime. Jaden is doing the things to be quarterback one. And I feel like even when I'm at training camp, we're going to hear more about it. And then it's going to come out preseason before the first game. Yep, Jaden Daniels is starting. He's the guy. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry. But of course, I'm excited to see Jaden Daniels. I want to see his arm in person. I've never seen Jaden Daniels play in person. That's something I really wanted. When we had Sam Howell, I saw him play plenty of times in person. I saw him at the Senior Bowl. I got to talk to him at the Senior Bowl. I got to know him. I haven't had that opportunity with Jaden Daniels. I haven't been able to watch his arm in person and see how it is. I've seen the videos, but it just doesn't hit the same. I want to see his footwork. I want to see his mechanics. I want to see how he interacts with the coaches. I want to see how he interacts with the players. I want to see what he's doing between plays. There's a lot of things I want to see out of Jaden Daniels, and I'm excited. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I got my Jaden Daniels jersey. I'm going to bring it there. Cannot wait to see how he looks. And then also, who's going to get that quarterback third spot? Is it going to be Jeff Driscoll or is it going to be Sam Hartman? So I'm excited to see these quarterbacks. I want to see how this offense flows, different formations. Are they doing a lot of pre-snap motion, stuff like that? But I'm excited to see some quarterbacks, y'all. Let me know, by the way. Drop in the comments whatever you want to see from me while I'm at training camp. Videos, pictures, formations, like I said, anything. Who's playing where? Let me know what y'all want to see. I'm a man of the people. Running backs are exciting. We got my guy, Austin Eckler. Shout out to Austin. He comes here and he reunites with his old former head coach, who is now his run game coordinator. And he came out and he said it many times this offseason. The Chargers last season, they were a mess. They were a mess. He didn't say that. I'm saying that. But he said that team and the offense just wasn't me. That's not who I was. The things that they wanted me to do, that's not me. Now he's coming to a situation where he knows how to be used. He knows what to expect, and he's going to be used the right way. And he's also joining Brian Robinson. Shout out to B-Rob, a guy who can, physical runner. Showed us last year out of nowhere that he can catch and make big plays happen after the catch. I never saw that at Alabama, so B-Rob shocked the heck out of me with that one. But he joins a guy who he can be 50-50 with, and they're both going to be fresh, and they're both going to bring separate things that really add value to this offense in the backfield. And who knows who running back 3 is going to be? Maybe it's going to be Chris Rodriguez. Maybe it's going to be Jeremy McNichols. I like Wiley out of Arizona, another one of these undrafted guys. I think he's going to make some noise at training camp. But I am excited to see Austin Eckler back to Austin Eckler. People don't realize how dominant Austin Eckler was. There is not a running back that scored more touchdowns than this man since he's entered the league. Yards, catches, you name it. Austin Eckler was the guy at running back. He doesn't do the Derrick Henry stuff where he's running in a ton of game and he's just, kind of like a one-trick pony thing where he's just going to, wear and tear you down. But Austin Eckler is going to put up a lot of stats. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns, and he's going to help a young rookie quarterback out. When I had him on here talking about, hey, you had Justin Herbert when he was a rookie. What can you do as a running back to help him out? And he said there's a lot that he can do. So adding him, guys, I cannot wait to see Austin Eckler back to his form, running that rock and catching like he's supposed to. So the offense is exciting. There's a lot to watch on the offense, though, between the flashy franchise quarterback, the question marks and wild cards on offensive line, and then also the depth and the position battles at the back end of the wide receivers. Now let's go to defense real quick. I don't want to make this video too long. Defense, we know what we're getting out of Deron Payne and John Allen. I'm expecting big seasons out of those two. Can Fedarian Mathis stay healthy? And if he does, what does that look like? Now, good news is Jerzon Newton, one of the best, if not, in my opinion, the best defensive player in the entire draft, is ready to go. He got taken off the NFI list. He was at the first practice. He was just doing like little things. And then of course today he was doing a little bit more. I don't see him doing too much contact stuff yet. He's doing reps, like he's getting up in there, but I think they're going to, be safe with it and get him going, but he's ready to go much faster than what we expected. I've said this so many times this offseason. Johnny Newton was, and we're going to say this about another guy that we drafted on defense. There was not many defensive players in college football that took over games. Now, Illinois wasn't like some great team. Their defense was great. Offense, it is what it is. But when you want to talk about a player that just pops on film, a guy that just commands attention, Johnny Newton, the last 2 years, and this is crazy to say, but he was on the level of John Allen at Alabama, Ndamukong Suh at Nebraska, Aaron Donald at Pitt. Johnny Newton, and watch the film. You're going to call me crazy. You're going to say, oh, I'm whatever. Because you didn't hear about him before and, until we drafted him. You're like, oh, what the heck? We got another D tackle. Go watch the film. Look at the numbers, the pressures, the sacks, the tackles for loss from a D tackle standpoint. It's so hard to be that disruptive from that position. And he did it. And he made it look so easy. Johnny Newton is a force. He's going to be a fan favorite. He's going to be one of these guys. I'm telling y'all, 2-3 years, the NFL is going to be like, Johnny Newton's a beast over there in Washington. That guy is a problem. We need to do something about this guy every game. And oh yeah, by the way, he has John Allen and Deron Payne next to him. Now, he can also line up outside. He did that a couple times. I wasn't saying a lot, but it was a good bit at Illinois. This guy can line up all over the line. So don't worry about, is he going to play? I'm telling you, whether it's 4-2-5, whether it's 5-2, it doesn't matter. Johnny Newton's going to be on the field. And he's going to be fresh when he's on the field. I don't see this guy playing like 90% of snaps, but when he's on the field, he's going to make an impact. Holy smokes. I was elated when we drafted him. I said, oh my God, I can't believe he's here. I cannot believe he is there. Now on the edge, we have Clelin Ferrell, who came over from San Fran, Dorrance Armstrong, who comes over from Dallas, Dante Fowler, who came over from Dallas. So we rejuvenized that outside. What's it going to look like? How good is he going to be? That's another wild card. Now, Dorrance Armstrong, I was talking about this earlier in the video. I was talking about Biadish. Dorrance Armstrong was that young guy who didn't get all the reps. Like he wasn't, a 3-down guy. Kind of like Huff. Kind of like Bryce Huff. Wasn't a 3-down guy yet. But when he was on the field, he made noise. He made sacks, tackles for loss, pressures. He did everything. Dorrance Armstrong made the most of his opportunities. And Quinn said, and Coach Witt too said, we want to bring this guy with us. And Dorrance Armstrong said, heck yeah, I want to go play for that man. I thrive in his defense. Now he's getting an opportunity. Maybe he still will, rotate with Dante Fowler Jr. I don't know. I think Dorrance Armstrong is going to be on the field a lot. It's going to be more than when he was in Dallas, no doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely going to be more than, what it was in Dallas. So I'm excited to see how he fills into that role and what he does with it. Now, on the other side, how I said, Clelin Ferrell. Another guy, high draft pick with the Raiders. Tons of talent. Local guy. Don't let the fans hear about that. I'm excited because San Francisco really wanted to keep him. They said, man, we really wanted to bring this guy back. Now, am I expecting him to be some, Bosa type? No. But I think there's enough there. And the dude's jacked, by the way. This guy's huge. He's got the talent. He's got everything. I think the fit with Quinn and Witt is going to work wonders for Clelin Ferrell. And I really like KJ Henry on the outside. I liked Andre Jones last year. Efe Obada, I just don't know how ready he's going to be, after, breaking his leg the way he did. And then we had Javonte Jean-Baptiste from Notre Dame late in the draft. So they handpicked guys they wanted. They wanted Dorrance Armstrong. They wanted Clelin Ferrell. They wanted Dante Fowler Jr. They wanted Javonte Jean-Baptiste. I feel good about it. And we haven't really talked about another aspect when it's, if it's just rushing the quarterback, if that's what you're thinking about. Guys, we got Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, Jordan McGee at linebacker. And then we've heard about Jamin Davis. Jamin Davis has been getting opportunities at rushing the quarterback, being that outside linebacker. Shout out to now, he has been for a few years now, but Coach Kerrigan, another guy I love. He's been working with Jamin Davis and showing him these pass rushing moves and getting the most out of them. So you're going to see some outside pass rushing from Jamin Davis. Like, think about what they did with Micah Parsons. Kind of, moved him over to D end. I don't think it's going to be like that to an extent, but Micah Parsons was like a linebacker, pass rusher, like big tackler at Penn State. And they kind of just said, well, we're going to kind of move you to, D end because that's what you do the best. And I don't think we're going to get that exact movement out of him, but we're going to see more opportunities. And there's a couple times where I broke down film on the channel about games, with Jamin Davis. I remember there was one when we played the Lions, 2 years ago. There's a couple times where he blitzed and he got to the quarterback. I was like, man, Jamin Davis, he's so athletic. He can get to the quarterback. I don't think that's a problem. So now Jamin Davis has actual coaching, something he hasn't had since he's been here. What's he going to do with that? And then we have some other guys that came over, like Mikael Walker, who came over from Pitt, and then Anthony Pittman, who was a big-time special teams guy in Detroit. Can he fill in some role? And then Jordan McGee, who maybe could be that next fifth-round linebacker that Adam Peters found, like Dre Greenlaw. Just a super athletic, a leader for Temple. I mean, I love the player. I love the player in Jordan McGee. And he gets to learn from Bobby Wagner. So don't be surprised next year, Bobby Wagner retires. It's going to be Frankie Louvu and Jordan McGee in those two linebacker spots. I think we'll play mostly two linebacker sets. That's essentially what most of the NFL is now, because you got to play a lot of, with an extra DB, whether it's an extra safety or it's an extra corner, because this is a passing league. You got to have some rangy linebackers, which Frankie Louvu is, and Jordan McGee, absolutely. He's an athletic freak. So don't be surprised if next year Ben Sennett takes a jump to tight end one and Jordan McGee takes a spot in that two linebacker sets. The linebacker group, this is the best I've seen it in, maybe my whole lifetime. Guys, Bobby Wagner is a Hall of Famer. Bobby Wagner is him. And Bobby Wagner has worked with Coach, Ken Norton before. And he said, duh, that's why I came here. That's my guy. And then Dan Quinn, the guy that coached me in Seattle, absolutely I'm going to come over here and play with him. He had opportunities to go to Dallas. It just didn't happen. There's a lot of teams that wanted Bobby Wagner. And then Frankie Louvu, one of the up-and-coming younger linebackers you just don't hear about because he played on the Panthers. But this guy is a stud. I think he's top 5, 6, 7 at like worst in the league. This guy's a beast. I'm not saying he's on the level of maybe Greenlaw and Fred Warner yet, but this guy can thrive in this defense. I can't wait to see it. Now we're going to talk about the last part, which is the secondary, which is one that I'm circling. Who's lined up where at training camp? I think St. Juste really fits what Dan Quinn and Coach Witt like out of their corners. I think they can help him with, the coaching he didn't get yet, really, here in Washington with, the grabbing, the being a little too physical, but still letting him play his style. It's not a talent thing for St. Juste. I'm going to be honest, it's not. He has talent to play man corner in this defense. I just want to see that he's in position. He's doing the things. He's not giving up big plays. He's not being too grabby, not too physical. But I think he fits what Dan Quinn wants to do and what Coach Witt really likes out of his corners. And then on the other side, it's all about Emmanuel Forbes. Are you the guy? Show us that you're the guy. Show us that what you were last year is not who you are. And I don't think that was him. Honestly, I feel bad for how he was treated, man. Forbes did not just forget how to play football. This man played in a gauntlet of the SEC. I watched it single-handedly. I'm an SEC guy. I single-handedly watched Forbes play in the SEC and watched him be really good. Now you can talk about was he the right pick or not, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that. I love Gonzalez. Gonzalez is going to be really good for a long time. But with that being said, I don't think Forbes is bad. Just people aren't realizing. I don't think it's hit people yet. It hasn't hit yet until you see these guys on the field in a real game. The coaching was as bad as humanly possible. As bad as humanly possible. Ron Rivera was a joke. Del Rio was a joke. Look how they handled him. Benching him, playing him against the best, throwing him out there. And then he had a couple good plays. But of course, against A.J. Brown, he's going to have some really bad plays in there too. Like it got bad for Forbes. And then they're pulling him out and putting him back in, pulling him out and putting him back in. It was so bad. I feel so bad for Forbes. But right now, I think Michael Davis could be the guy that starts because he's the veteran. You know, they got him from the Chargers, that man coverage guy once again. He could be a little bit more reliable than Forbes right now. But once Forbes gets the right coaching, I want him to be like, look, guys, I'm him. I'm the guy. I'm the guy that needs to be starting at this spot. I think eventually it will happen. But it wouldn't surprise me if preseason and everything, Michael Davis is the starter, maybe even going into the season, who knows. But I want to see Forbes just take that spot and say, like, look, I did not just forget how to play football. It wasn't a talent thing. It was an in-position thing. It was being coached your first year in the NFL the right way. The right way. And the one I feel the best about, Mikey Sainristil. Nick Saban said this was the best, not defensive player, not corner. My GOAT, Nick Saban, said this is the best player in the entire draft. And Dan Quinn said, I want him. I want this guy. They were elated to see that he was there. Same with Johnny Newton. He's like, I want him so bad, man. They're both. And in my opinion, I said this the other day, I still cannot believe that Washington got two of the best defensive players in the entire draft. Period. There's guys that changed games. Mikey Sainristil was one of those guys. You know, they had Keon Saw back there. They had Will Johnson back there. Mikey Sainristil got his. He got his interception. He had, 6 interceptions last year? Come on. This guy's a dog. This guy is a dog. We know who the nickel corner is. We know who the slot guy is going to be. It's going to be Mikey Sainristil. And teams are going to hate playing against him. They're going to hate it. So, you know, meanwhile, we're thinking about what's the outside look like with St. Juice, Michael Davis, Forbes. Who knows? They got some other guys in here. They got James Pierre. You know, we've had Christian Holmes, Nick Whiteside. We've had Casha Fields. Igbinoghene, Noah Igbinoghene from Dallas, a familiar face. Who knows? But we know Mikey Sainristil is going to be that guy. We know he's going to be him. And same with safety. There's a lot of different formations, and I am so glad Coach Witt came out and said this not too long ago, like in minicamp or whatever. He said, don't ask me who's going to start where, because there's no such thing. We are going to have so many formations. We have so many guys we feel good about. It's not just the same 11 guys on the field. They're going to rotate guys in, and I think the secondary is where you're going to see that. Because Quan Martin could play corner. Quan Martin could play free safety. Quan Martin could play some hybrid at, linebacker. Same with Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin could play linebacker. He could play strong safety. Dominic Hampton could play safety one. Like, wow. Don't be surprised if there's a time where Jeremy Chin is in the box, whether it's as a safety, linebacker, whatever the heck you want to call it, a star position, whatever, with two linebackers, and then you have like Dom Hampton back at safety with Quan Martin at free safety. Don't be surprised. How do I feel about Percy Butler? Some of those guys, I don't know. But I do know that Coach Witt's going to cook something up with the safeties where you're just going to see so many different looks. The offense is going to have to be honest with themselves every time they line up. I literally thought about this like 2 days ago. I woke up, I was like, man, for the first time in a long time, I'm excited for this defense. I'm excited to see from a technique standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, what this defense looks like with the right coaching staff. Went from the worst in the NFL to one of the best in the NFL with Quinn and Witt and Norton. Like we got depth on offense and defense and at coaching. That's crazy to me. I don't think it'll hit anyone until we actually see it live in game. Where I see Bobby Wagner lay some guy out, or Frankie Lovu gets an interception, or we got Jeremy Chin getting a pick, laying some guy out. Dorrance Armstrong's getting a sack. John Allen, Ron Payne, and Newton are just ears pinned back like pit bulls just going after the quarterback. I don't think it'll hit me until I actually see it. But as excited as I am as a franchise quarterback and all the pieces we've added, I'm so excited to see this defense finally perform like a competent NFL defense. These guys didn't just forget how to play football. They just didn't have the right situation. And then we added a heck ton of really good guys who are playmakers, guys who got a lot of sacks in college, guys that got a lot of interceptions in college, guys that are just athletic freaks that fit what we want to do here. So I'm excited. I can't wait. Y'all know I love training camp. Absolutely love training camp. It's one of my favorite things. And I was like, even moving to Texas, I'm not going to miss out on the opportunity to go to training camp. I'll be in Tampa for the first game. So if you're going to that game, hit me up. I won't be able to go to too many home games, if any. Just with the new football scouting job, I'll be working a lot of weekends, watching football and scouting Mondays and Tuesdays. Pretty much Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'm literally watching football all day. I know, sounds terrible, right? Getting paid to watch football. Shout out to God. But let me know what y'all are looking forward to mostly at training camp. Like I said, we've already had the first 2 practices, but y'all know things ramp up when Josh Taylor gets on campus. When I get hype, I start watching things. I start feeding y'all everything that I see and giving y'all my thoughts. So stay tuned. Got a lot of really good things coming up on the channel now that I'm full-time Josh in football. Super excited. Appreciate all the support. The channel's popping off lately, and it's about to get even crazier. So hit that subscribe button and come back. Hit that like button and drop in the comments what you want to see at training camp. See y'all next time. Peace.